Hello, I'm taking questions from the floor. Anyone want to ask me a question, please, you over there.
Are things going well then?
No, things aren't going well, really. Things aren't going well. They're just not. Next question, please, over there.
Why are things not going well?
No, not a clue. I really don't know why things aren't going well. I've not changed things since we started doing well in the season, earlier in the season. I've not changed. Maybe that's why we're not doing well. I've not changed things. Maybe that's why we're not doing well. I've not changed things. You may have just saved me there. Actually, with that question, because I've answered it myself. So perhaps that's quite good. One more question, please.
Do you reckon you can still win the Bundesliga?
Well, theoretically, yes. Recent form would suggest no, but there's still a chance out there, and it could make for an exciting end to the season. Hello and welcome back. We have got two games for you. We've got the Freiburg game and the Schalke game in the Bundesliga. As it starts to hot up now, and really, we're kind of out of form. I'll show you what I mean by that. We've played 3 games since you were last here. Hertha Berlin, Bayern Munich and Mainz, and we've lost 2 and won 1. We start off with the Hertha Berlin game, a 4-3 loss, which is very frustrating. An 89th minute winner for them, which... Again, it wasn't great, really, I've got to say. We just weren't that switched on defensively, that game. Hertha Berlin, attacking-wise, we were great, obviously, scoring a few goals. But Hertha Berlin, we just switched off at the back, and they punished us for it. So, unfortunately, lost that one 4-3, which isn't a great scoreline. Bayern Munich, a 2-0 loss to them. They're starting to get back into it now. Finally, Bayern Munich fans will be happy as they managed to beat us 2-0 this time. Even with a man sent off, they still beat us 2-0. It was a bit embarrassing, really. But last time out, we did slightly redeem ourselves with a 2-0 win over Mainz. Thomas Delaney got himself sent off in the first half, but we managed to score 2 goals before then to make sure that it was looking pretty good. What it does mean, though, for the table is that we drop down to second. Eintracht Frankfurt go ahead of us by 2 points. We're still 2 points ahead of Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern Munich have clawed their way back into the Champions League place as well. They sit 4 points behind us, as do Leipzig and Freiburg. So it's still really tight at the top, and anyone could still win the title. I also think it would be absolutely ridiculous if Bayern Munich, who have been awful all season, somehow managed to go and win the title on the last day of the season. But I can just imagine that's what's going to happen. I can just already see it. Either way, though, we are going to get straight into today's game against Freiburg. We beat them earlier on in the season in a relatively convincing game, so hopefully today is going to be similar to that. We're starting off with Berkey in goal. Again, he's not really impressed me that much since last episode at all, but he's going to stay in goal because he's better than Hitz, and Hitz has no match sharpness either. Guerrero comes back at left back. He's back from his injury. Diallo and Zagadou this time come into that that centre defensive partnership, actually, I've got to say. Hakimi on the right hand side. CDM is Axel Witsel. That's what I was thinking about. CDM Axel Witsel with Dahoud and Weigl ahead of him. Royce on the left, Pulisic on the right, and Alcacer up front. So really, it's still not changed much. I keep feeling like I need to change things, but I just can't get away from these players being the best players out there. When the other ones play, they just don't perform as well, which is an issue. Philip comes on every now and again, scores goals up front, but we just cannot beat this lineup at the moment. Well, I do say that. It's not like I've tried anything too much recently, and perhaps the reason we're losing all these games at the moment is because we're just not changing things enough, and perhaps the sides are starting to figure it out a little bit. Hopefully today against Freiburg, who have dropped down the table a little bit, down to 6th, of course. They were in first for a little bit, actually, so similar to us, they had a very good start to the season, and in the second half of the season they've dropped off the pace a lot. We really are in relegation form, which is very poor, I've got to say. Very, very poor. I think everyone's playing right now, though. We'll watch this highlight first before we double check that, but I think everyone is playing right now on this Tuesday or Wednesday night, as it looks like we have a chance as Witsel collects the ball, plays out to Guerrero, who's already got a yellow card 50 minutes into today's game, as does Royce, actually, who loses the ball. It goes back to Berkey, who clears it up towards Dahoud, which is nice to see. Witsel back to Berkey. If he can try and show some distribution now, that would be great. Into Zagadou, not the best because he was under pressure there pretty quickly. As is Guerrero, actually. Some good energy from the Freiburg players, to be fair, as Royce puts a beautiful fall forward to Christian Pulisic. And Pulisic beats both defender and goalkeeper to it and puts us 1-0 up in this game and temporarily back on top of the table ahead of Eintracht Frankfurt, who are playing right now, I believe, and they are currently drawing and have missed a penalty, so that's pretty good for us so far. We also should keep an eye on Bayer Leverkusen as well, who are currently winning, but as long as we win, we still stay 2 points ahead of them, which is fine. We don't have to worry too much about Bayern Munich, Leipzig or Freiburg too much at the moment. Obviously Freiburg in this game because we're playing them, but the other two teams, they are still a good few points behind us, a few wins away perhaps, so we can afford to keep the eye off them a little bit, but we do need to keep an eye on Eintracht Frankfurt and Bayer Leverkusen, and Freiburg have just scored, which isn't great. Apparently, someone thought it was offside, but I think it came from a corner, so I'm not quite sure how that could happen. Freiburg, actually, I've got to say, they are dominating us a little bit. Early indications at least show that they are dominating us in terms of shots and possession and things like that, which isn't great. Scoreline is pretty even, obviously, because it's 1-1, but I just don't quite know what's happened to us. And it's probably because I've not changed anything. So maybe we need to change things in the second half. Well, I'm going to go aggressive at half-time, actually. We are going to go aggressive. I'm far from pleased from what I've just seen from this team. We're also going to click on tactics as well. And we may switch, actually, to it's a very similar formation, but we switch to this 4-2-4 wing play formation. So we'll have Paco Alcacer as our advanced forward. We'll move Witsel back into the midfield role there. Now, can Dahoud play as a ball-winning midfielder better than Weigl can? He can't really. So we'll leave Weigl on the pitch because he's not on a yellow card. Dahoud is. Dahoud's going to have to come off then for probably Maximilian Philipp up front. I don't think he's much of a target man. Not really. Can he be anything else? Deep line forward? I'm not sure. How do we undo that? Am I being stupid? Where's the undo button gone? I don't know where the undo button's gone. In that case, we'll just take him off anyway. Can we put Alexander Isaac on? Does Alexander Isaac like to be a target man? He does actually. So we'll leave it like that. Slightly more attacking in the second half. Slightly more aggressive in our stance. Perhaps we'll do a little bit better. I think it's worth trying because nothing else is working right now. Although as you're already 10 minutes into the second half and there's been no highlights, I don't think this is going to work either. We're in a bit of a predicament, which isn't great. Luckily for us, Frankfurt still drawing. Of course, Bayer Leverkusen winning, so they go on level points with us. Bayern Munich winning, so they go on 2 points behind us. So, again, the more games we don't win, we're just putting ourselves on more and more pressure, basically. Frankfurt, yes, still drawing. Leverkusen 3-0 up as well. Bayern Munich, wherever they are, somewhere, they're 1-0 up as well. So it's not looking good. And still, we're still not getting into this game. The strike force that we've tried to sort of create hasn't really worked out too much. Guerrero on a yellow card not playing very well either, so I think we'll take him off for Schmelzer. There isn't really anyone we can sort of bring on the pitch that's going to change things too much. Maybe Brun Larsen on the right-hand side of the pitch will change things a little bit if we bring him on for Christian Pulisic instead. That might work a little bit, but again, I just don't quite know what's gone wrong in the second half of the season for us to be so bad. Alexander Isaac on the ball, though, coming forward with it in towards Witsel. Witsel out towards Royce. Royce can put a decent crossing. We know he can. Puts it in towards the back post, but it's not challenged by any of our players and collected very easily, actually, by the Freiburg goalkeeper, who's got a chance now to show his distribution as he puts it up onto the head of Zagadou, but he just gives it straight back to the Freiburg midfield. France coming forward on this left-hand side of the pitch. And what was Berke doing there? What was Berkey doing there? Now we're 2-1 down. And as you can see, we also dropped down to third in the table, which is fantastic. So if we've got a chance straight from the kickoff, though, as Alexander Isaac does get on the end of a Brun Larsen cross to make it 2-2 again. And we've got 15 minutes to find a winner. But this is not good enough. We should be doing better. Berkey suddenly dropped down to a 4.6. Now, he was obviously very out of position for their second goal, but I would not put him down to a 4.6 for that. What is that about? We'll go very attacking as well for these final 10 minutes or so. We need to try and do something out there. We need to try and do something. And they're coming forward again, and France's... Berkey makes a very good save there to try and redeem himself from earlier on. His rating's still not gone up from it, though. I mean, it was a good save, I've got to say. He was absolutely through France there. Corner now as well, and this time it's gone all the way through, and it's... They've got a VAR penalty review. And what's he done? Oh, he has awarded the penalty, the referee. Brilliant. Berkey, please make yourself a hero as their number 7 steps up. Berkey with a huge save. He's redeemed himself for letting in that goal earlier on. That's fine. Brun Larsen gets clear and gets rid of it. There's 5 minutes left. Let's just say push forward. Push forward to the boys for these final 5 minutes. If we can grab a winner, we do go back on top of the table, I believe. Or do we not go back on top of the table? We should do on goal difference, but I can't remember if it's head-to-head or not. We've not been on level points with someone for quite a while, although we are with Bayer Leverkusen, but we have beaten Bayer Leverkusen. It's a confusing thing. So many different European leagues have different rules. It doesn't really matter, though, in the end, because as we've got 30 seconds left on the clock, unless that pass was going to be a golden one, which it wasn't, I don't think we're going to get the win in this game. 20 seconds to go, and it's Freiburg who are the ones hogging the ball and probably going to be happy. Well, in fact, they're probably not going to be happy with the draw. They're probably going to be very unhappy with the draw because they really should have won this game. They had chances to do so. An offside there for their number 7, and that should be that. There we go. The referee blows his whistle. It's another draw and another game that we've not won. I mean, that is... It's not great. It is really not great, I've got to say. I expect more. Guerrero also picked up a 1-match ban for 5 yellow cards, so that's our best left-back out of the massive derby we've got in 9 days' time now against Schalke. A nice little rest, at least, in between. But more players crossing. This is probably why we're not doing well. Everyone just hates me. Everyone just hates me right now. Turpak asked for a new contract, and I just ignored him completely because I'm just sick to death of all these players literally every week asking for contracts. What if I dropped? What's he even wanting? What was the request? And apparently he wants more game time. He asked me about contract 2 days ago, just before the episode started. He asked me about contracts. I don't know what he's on about right now. Basically, how would you feel if I dropped you for one of your more deserving team or less deserving teammates? 2 players are happy. I'm just past this. I cannot wait for the season to end, so I don't have to deal with stressful Dortmund superstar divas. Brunslasen. I'm just declining all these chats now, which probably isn't helping at all. And I just can't wait for the season to end because then I don't have to deal with them anymore. I should probably tell you actually, after this season ends, tomorrow's going to be the last episode. Then the weekend comes around because it should be Thursday when this comes out as I'm recording this. And then obviously on Friday, tomorrow, last episode will come out, last episode of this season. After that, we're going to move on to a new save. And I think you should like it. We're going to be doing... Should I just tell you? I'm trying to keep it kind of cryptic. Although I think I did tweet the other day actually about it. So it's probably not that cryptic. It sort of depends when I've tweeted things. You may already know about it. But we're gonna go and play with Lincoln United, who are the second team in Lincoln. Obviously, we did Lincoln Loco last season with Lincoln City, my team. But there is another team quite far down. I think we're in step 9 called Lincoln United. And quite frankly, I can't wait for it. It's going to be so much fun, I think. So the Lincoln Loco 2 is going to be coming out next week. We're going to do again, more arguments. I'm not even going to discuss the issue with my squad this time. Just skip it. I don't care. We're going to be doing the Lincoln Loco 2, though. That's going to come out on, it should be Monday. Hopefully Monday. That's my plan at least right now. Monday is when it's going to come out. 8 p.m. on Monday, we're going to do a premiere. It's a new thing on YouTube where rather than me just schedule a video and it comes out, it is scheduling the video, but then it should all notify you about half an hour before when it's coming out, and then we all sit there in a chat, and it's like a live stream, but it's not a live stream, but I'm going to be there in the chat, you can be there in the chat, we talk about things. It should be quite fun, I think, so we'll set that premiere up, and I'm looking forward to it. Title race hots up, and according to this, nine different teams could win it, and actually, to be fair, there's only 9 points between the top 9 teams, which shows how close it is, and actually does show that literally any one of these teams could actually win it. So we won't go through it all, because it's quite difficult. Hopefully a lot of these teams have to play each other, and actually Bayern Munich have to play a lot of them. Frankfurt have to play a lot of them. We don't have to play too many of them, actually. In fact, we don't have to play any of them. Only Schalke in the top 9, so that's quite good for us. So actually this could be, if things go well for us, we could turn this around and still win the title, so that's looking kind of good. So everyone's played apart from us right now. So quickly looking down this, Bayern Munich won, Frankfurt lost. Interestingly, Leverkusen won, Freiburg lost, Stuttgart lost. So what does that mean for the table? Just quickly before we get into the game, it means that we drop down to 4th, but a win would put us back on top of the table as we go ahead of Bayer Leverkusen. So today is massive. This game we do have to win, and if we do win it, we go on top of the table. Of course, we have to win it as well because it's Schalke. Now, only one change to make to the lineup. Guerrero's going to have to come off, and Schmelzer has to come on the pitch due to a suspension. But other than that, everyone should be fine to play. I still have faith in these boys to turn things around. They're still the best starting 11 out there, I think. I just struggle to want to change it, if I'm honest with you. I just struggle. Also, I'm kind of past the point of caring with some of these players. Like, some of them are just absolute pricks to me that I just don't really care if they get game time or not. So, I feel like I've not really been a great manager of this save, but, it's something that we have to deal with. Kickoffs upon us, though, against Schalke. We're at home this time. We did get embarrassed away from home earlier on in the season. You would have seen it on camera It wasn't a great episode. We did lose quite spectacularly to Schalke, unfortunately. But hopefully today we'll turn things around and go back on top of the table as Paco Alcacer on the ball early on, puts it into Christian Pulisic. Farman with a very decent save there, but Paco Alcacer back on the ball. Gets tackled, though, out for a throw-in. But, the early warning signs are there from Dortmund, and that's potentially the only warning sign they're going to get all game on our recent form, or judging by our recent form. Although Paco Alcacer has been put forward again. He's in behind the defence. Farman again with a very good save. If we can keep this kind of pressure up every 4 minutes, that would be good. Well, I mean, since those 4 minutes, those first 4 minutes, nothing's happened, which hasn't been great. It does mean it's good in one sense because it hasn't given Schalke a chance to score, but at the same time, it's not given us a chance to score as we've not been able to show any highlights. Basically, we've obviously not been creating good enough chances out there. Now there's a corner for Schalke, which has been clawed off the line by Berkey there, I think. Goes out for a goal kick. That's the closest we've seen a goal come in today's game. Farman for Schalke, by the way, on a 7.1 rating, but actually Berkey on a 7.2. So both goalkeepers being called into action, having to make some very decent saves by looks of things as we approach half-time now with still not a goal on the score sheet, which is good in a way because it means we've not conceded. That's the thing I'm worried about at the moment. We do seem to be conceding a fair few goals at the moment. We can score goals. We're pretty good at scoring goals. We do have the highest goal difference in the whole league, actually, so we're pretty good at that. But we do seem to be a little bit leaky at the back as Paco Alcacer can't quite keep it in, or can't quite get his cross in rather. But we do have another chance to come back as Weigl puts it back to Witsel. They're sort of passing it between each other, trying to get through this little three-man triangle midfield that Schalke have sort of got in place to block us. Dahoud cleverly to Schmelzer. Schmelzer can put the cross in. Paco Alcacer, it bounces off the crossbar, bounces on my line, I think bounces off someone else, and then eventually gets caught by Farman. We've been unlucky. We have been very unlucky in this first half. Some gentle encouragement at half-time, I think. You've been unlucky out there. A few motivated faces, which is kind of nice to see. Hopefully, they're going to be motivated enough for this second half. I mean, we've had the better of the game. We've had the better chances. We really should have scored one or two of them, I've got to say, especially that last one before half-time. If we end up losing today's game, I'm going to be very cross, but Paco Alcacer has found a bit of space in behind the defence, shoots from distance, though really probably should have been better passing it to Christian Pulisic on the other side of the box. They may have had a better chance, although Farman, his distribution, not the best. Hakimi wins it back towards the Schalke players who get back on the ball. Baba on the ball back to Nastasic. Nastasic back to Farman on the ball. He puts it up, although Schmelzer sprinting in the way there to get on the ball. Royce now on the ball. He puts it over Farman, but also puts it over the bar. Really, you've got to say at the moment, this has just got 0-0 all over it. Witsel on the ball for us then, 50 minutes into this game. The second half is a lot more action so far in the second half than the first half as Royce puts it back to Berkey in our goal. He puts it to Schmelzer, who's got a lot of time and space. Dahoud actually just off the pitch right there, but it doesn't matter because Paco Alcacer can put it in the back of the net. We will take Dahoud off if he's getting treatment there. I don't want to risk him too much. And we do have, we don't have a central midfielder on the bench, because they've all been a bit injured recently. And, what have I done that for? Okay, in that case, we bring Witsel into the midfield, and I do believe that Topak can play CDM. Maybe Diallo or Zagadou can play there slightly better. Zagadou, do you want to play there? Zagadou, definitely not. Diallo, can he play there slightly better? Not really, actually. So we'll keep him swapped over like that. It'll be fine. Topak can do a decent job in that CDM position. He doesn't need to do much. He just needs to stand there and tackle people, basically. Well, there's not been a highlight since the goal yet, which fills me with a bit of confidence, because hopefully it means that we're limiting the chances that Schalke are having. I mean, they're limiting the chances we're having, of course. They can't be decent chances, the ones we're having, but no highlights mean no goals, and right now we need the win. As you saw last episode, as you saw at the start of this episode, our form just really hasn't been very good in the second half of the season at all. Really, if we carry on the form that we'd had at the start of the season, we'd have the league done and dusted right now as Pulisic scores a fantastic goal. What an assist by Diallo, by the way. That was huge. Pulisic does very well to get it in the back of the net. 2-0 now, a little bit more breathing room. We now go back top of the table. It is a done and goal difference, I think. It must be done and goal difference rather than head-to-head record like the Spanish leagues are, for example. But we do go top of the table. Bayer Leverkusen, of course, on 58 points, as well as Royce. How have we not scored here? How have we not scored there to make it 3-0, really, if I'm honest with you? Schmelzer with a chance to put it back to Hakimi. Hakimi into Weigl. Weigl isn't really doing much with it. And Hakimi actually gets it back to Weigl in a very nice fashion there. They're they're just toying with that midfield. Victor then has loads of space. It sort of gets through to Pulisic. Royce on the ball finally puts it in the back of the net, making up their little error earlier on by not scoring. But as I was saying, we go back onto the table on goal difference ahead of Bayer Leverkusen, a point ahead of Frankfurt, 2 points ahead of Bayern Munich, and 4 points ahead of Leipzig. So a little bit more breathing room now between the sides that are outside the top four, but it's still anyone's game. Still anyone's game. Or anyone's title, I should say. It's anyone's title to take. Oh, I wasn't really watching, and I didn't expect it to go in the back of the net, so I didn't really talk about it. We'll show you again. Naldo free kick from an outrageous distance. Really, Berkey should have done a lot better, but it has gone in the back of the net for a consolation goal, hopefully, for Schalke. Hopefully, a consolation goal. There is not a highlights from kickoff because we've just not caught up with the rest of the game yet, so that's fine. Throw in for us towards the end of it. Pulisic on the ball. Can we restore the 3-goal lead? No. Farman with another great save. We have, though, won the River Derby against Schalke. We lost it earlier in the season, so I really wanted to win this one. So it's a great episode for all those Dortmund fans out there watching this, because you've beaten your rivals, or I've beaten your rivals for you. So you can all thank me in the comment section for that. 3-1 win. We also go back on top of the table. So despite the first game not being the best, we have redeemed ourselves today by going back on top of the table. Right, next episode then. The Dusseldorf game and the Borussia Mönchengladbach game. All we have to do is win those 4 games against Wolfsburg, who are 13th, Werder Bremen, who are 14th, Dusseldorf, who are 15th, and Borussia Mönchengladbach, who are 16th. On paper, this is easy, but this is Football Manager, so watch us now lose all 4 and probably finish outside Europa League places or something stupid like that. Thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have done, make sure you do drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here with notifications turned on. And I will see you next time for some more Real Deal. What am I talking about? It's not Real Deal. Why have I said that? We've not done the Real Deal for weeks. No, in Football Manager 2019. So, I mean, I won't see you next time for more Real Deal action, but I will see you next time for some more Football Manager 2019 action.